So it's 7 p.m. Call the meeting to order. There is one addition the council had some previous notice of. So we do have a funding request of support coming forward from the Autism Society. I would ask at this time if there are any other additions.
I have one addition.
Sure.
Worship. Just an added concern, and I know it's been probably, repeated numerous times, but just concerns for citizens of town of the use of Jake Lakes.
Sure.
I think there's probably a law that should be enforced. Maybe the RCMP should be notified.
Yeah.
And maybe brought to their attention again.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We can have a good conversation and certainly bring council up to speed on what's been happening elsewhere.
Sure.
Any other additions this evening? I would ask for a motion to put the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Corey. Do we have a seconder?
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilor Hart. All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. Any opposed? The agenda is approved. So no gallery presentations this evening. All right, so under acknowledgements, I would ask if council has any acknowledgements they would like to offer at this time. Move on to approval of council minutes. So circulated in your agendas were the public meeting council minutes of January 7th. I'd ask at this time if there are any errors or omissions with that set of minutes. Okay, hearing none, I would ask if there are any errors or omissions for the special public meeting minutes of January 15th, 2025. Okay, so business arising from either of those sets of minutes at this time. But if there is any business arising at any time, I certainly can bring it up as need be. I will move on to agenda item 8, which is CAO report. So I'll hand things over to our CAO, Terry Doyle. If there's any review you'd like to provide for council.
Yes, your worship, there were a number of items coming from committee of whole for council consideration.
Sure.
The first motion for consideration is with respect to for the Public Works tandem dump truck purchase. And the motion for consideration is that the town of Port Hawkesbury increase the previously approved budget for the tandem dump truck by $35,000 to be financed through the operating reserve.
What is the wishes of council? Okay, so Councillor Hart has moved the motion. Do we have a seconder? Okay, Councillor Barrett has seconded the motion. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, if you're prepared, I would ask all those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? The motion is approved.
The next motion for consideration is with respect to the 2025 female under 15 AAA Whitecaps. And the motion for consideration of the town of Port Hawkesbury approve a $200 donation to the under 15 AAA Whitecaps.
Thank you. What is the wishes of council?
I make the motion.
Okay, so Councillor McCrory is moved the motion. Do we have a seconder? Okay, Councillor Hart has seconded the motion. Any discussion? If you're prepared, I would ask all those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes. Yes.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion is approved.
The next motion for consideration is that the town of Port Hawkesbury approve the Girl Guides of Canada request to light the way for Port Hawkesbury Civic Center entrance blue on February 22nd for the World Thinking Day.
Okay, thank you, Terry. What is the wishes of council? Thank you. Councillor Barrett has moved the motion. Do we have a seconder?
I'll second.
Okay, seconded by Councillor Corey. All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Motion is approved.
And your worship, another motion for consideration that the town of Port Hawkesbury approve the 2025 flag raising schedule as presented at the January 21 Committee of Whole meeting.
And just for reference for council, if we do get a request for flag raising that's outside the parameters of the schedule, we'll certainly deal with it on a case by case basis. What is the wishes of council?
I'd make the motion.
Okay, so it's been moved by Councilor Corey. Do we have a second? I tried to put pressure on you, Councilor. Staring right at you. We have a seconder. All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Okay, motion is carried.
And your worship, that's the report from Committee of Whole.
Thank you so much, Terry. So I would ask at this time if there's any omissions or errors in the set of minutes for the Committee of the Whole January 21st. In minutes, and if there are none, I would ask for a motion to approve that set of minutes. Thank you, Councilor Corey. So we have a mover to approve the set of minutes, seconded by Councilor Hart. All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. Any opposed? Okay, the meeting minutes are approved. I would ask if there are any business arising from that set of minutes. So council reports on assigned committees. Perhaps we'll start with Deputy Mayor Lane.
Well, I'm on the Lander Lake Committee. We didn't meet since last meeting, so I have no updates there. Those activities ongoing. I'm on the Grove Port Hawkesbury Committee, and we haven't met yet. We haven't got our terms for it. Well, see. However, on February 4th, I did attend an open house here in the Shannon studio, put on by Everyone Fuels on the overhead wires, and gathered information. The 5th of February, I met with the representative for the Australia Cancer Support Corporation for the town with the CAO and the mayor. We had an interesting discussion. In the afternoon on the February 5th, I met with yourself and a husband and wife team who are looking to do economic activity here in the town. It was interesting to meet them. There's some follow-up. On the 6th of February was the Everwinds open house. On the 4th, the open house was here in the Shannon, so it was for the committees. Can't read my own handwriting. In the afternoon of the 6th, I attended a virtual update with the Natural Resources Renewals. CAO attended. On February 11th, I met with the CAO and MP Kellaway and the Honorable Cody Hutchins, Minister of Rural Economic Development responsible for ACOA, where we thanked her for her ACOA's support in the airport work, and had interesting discussion with the MP on potentials for Port Hawkesbury. We're expecting follow-up on that. On the 13th, I attended a Marine Renewables Canada conference in Halifax and submitted expenses for that. Traveled in the morning, returned in the afternoon, and I met with several different people and I gave a report to the CAO. And I'd encourage any councillors going on travel with municipal expense to do the same so we can all share the learnings. It was a good trip. On the 14th, received an incoming call as a result of that trip of a firm that's interested in doing work in Port Hawkesbury, so we'll follow up with that. And there's another activity on the 14th in the afternoon with parties interested in lands at Port Oxford.
Wonderful. Thank you. Does that conclude your report?
Yeah.
For now. Appreciate it. So we can go over to councillor report.
Moving. So, the only meeting that I've participated in since our last session was, as you noted in your report, the representative from Souls Harbor Kitchen, Soup Kitchen. And anyhow, it was an interesting meeting and be interesting where that's gonna go. Give Britain Souls Recruiting for Health is be coming up in 2 weeks' time. Eastern Counties Regional Library Board is on Thursday.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, so move over to councillor Hart.
Yes, Your Worship. Friday, January 31st, I attended my first Straight Area Transit meeting, where I was introduced to the other members of the committee. And we discussed some budgeting as well as objectives for inclusion, reliability, and scheduling, which we discussed, and some concerns that have been compromised by employees. Reaching some services, which was concerning. February 3rd, I went online and just for a little update on the code of conduct, which was an entity of the session that we had here in person, which will also complement the online sessions that we will be taking part in. So we talked and discussed impartial concerns and comments to adhere to rules and regulations, principles of neutral justice and procedures of fairness. January 4th, I attended a town advisory committee meeting, which we focused on aligning our community members to enhance our town as a place to live, work, and play, and lots of interaction and ideas with respect to community members giving their inputs, which would support council and growing our community.
So dear.
Report, I attended the Port Oxford Open House for committees. It's a good turnout, good engagement with the citizens.
Fantastic. So I did submit my report, and apologies, I think I might have missed a meeting that Councilor Hart and I attended for Eastern District Planning Commission. Sure, that should have been for the last report. Yeah, that was another meeting we attended. And
I think we did talk about that because Terry, we were there.
yeah,
Yeah, and you were,
okay.
with respect to.
Perfect. So yeah, just there's no need to belabor any of just to be repetitive. I think with everybody's cumulative report, I think I've sat with any or all of you at different points in time. Anything I guess over and above would be just some NSFM responsibilities that I would have undertaken in terms of meetings, administrative council, offshore wind task force. And other than that, the Everwind Fuels Community Liaison Committee has a typical monthly meeting. So I think council for your reports this evening. Appreciate that. And I'll hand things over to our CAO for his report.
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. So at your last committee of whole, there was detailed reports on all of the departments within town. This is a combined committee of whole and public meeting. So typically, we've forwarded reports from departments and we just ask for questions with respect to those reports. We won't go into detail in the session.
But if there are any questions with regard to any of those reports or just this is a good time to ask those questions now.
I have one question.
No, absolutely.
Who's that comprises the executive for the Strait Council Offshore Wind Task Force?
For my committee reports.
Is an executive meeting. Who comprises the executive?
So it would be the two co-chairs. I believe the CEO of the Cape Breton Partnership, Tyler Mathis. And we do have some to support staff through the partnership and as well.
Okay,
Oh, and also Martin Thompson.
very good.
Any other questions? So we'll move on then to correspondence. So we have several items for council under correspondence. I guess before we move ahead, just wanted to make sure there's no other questions with regard to the CAO reports. Everybody's good? Okay, so the first correspondence is with regard to the municipal affairs and housing with reference to greater resource development. So I do understand that there is a request coming forward for the municipal affairs to potentially show some support and some passion, whether it's by motion or press release. There is, I think, a little bit more complicated than just considering it this evening. I think we probably need a little bit more information and have a little bit more discussion before council lands on, I guess, an action with regard to this request. So if council feels it prudent, maybe we could table this for further discussion. Ask for what your thoughts are.
Well, you were,
They're quite a crowd.
yeah, I can understand, with the trade in the US now that we need to maximize our own, but, and I'm supportive of that spirit
Yes.
without doubt, hesitation, or any kind of reservation. But we're rich in resources, and as long as we're, I just like more kind of think that we're doing proper extraction of our resources before I full throat going with the support of this. Let's be a little more deliberate in our response and give time to give a fulsome.
And it'd be, I think, more information to understand specific projects that are being entertained. And also to weigh, I guess, just to understand what the risks may be with regard to those separate endeavors, sector development. It's just to understand a little bit more about it before we kind of land action as a council. Any other comments on this item? And everybody's okay, and then we'll move it forward to the March meeting for further discussion. Thank you. So emergency management minister with regard to the emergency response. Terry, did you want to review that one?
Sure. So the government's put an added emphasis on emergency management with the creation of this department, taking it from municipal affairs, but creating its own department with its own deputy minister. So we're seeing changes in the way that emergency management Nova Scotia is being operated. One of the initiatives which has been outlined here is to ensure when we see a PCC, a provincial, that's the Provincial Coordination Center, the EM, the Emergency Management Organization Provincial Coordination Center, activated. The request or the instruction from the province is that the local called ECCs or the Emergency Coordination Center, which is from our municipalities, we have one from the town, be opened at the same time. So what they're referring to as level 2, which is fully operating with manned and not virtual. So when the province is manned, not virtual, our local municipality should be manned, not virtual. That's part of it. The other aspect that we're seeing that's being developed is around regional operation centers. So regional operation centers is a number of municipalities working together in response to emergencies, and there's information being rolled out by the province right now on that, and including yeah, what that's going to look like, sort of integration with our existing, um, control centers and how that's going to work and funding and a whole bunch of things being developed around that. So it's information at this time. For us, sort of the immediate takeaway is that we'll probably see sort of the full-scale activation of coordination centers opened more often as PCCs are open.
Thanks. Any questions or comments? We'll move on to the next piece of correspondence. A request has come forward from the Inverness County Home Support Membership. I know our council has a full complement of local and regional committees that we currently sit on. I would recommend that we advertise for a Port Hawkesbury representative from our community if council is okay with that suggestion, unless anybody wants to.
I would be okay with that suggestion.
Okay, thank you. Unless there's a volunteer amongst us, I would revert back to the recommendation to advertise for a community representative to sit on behalf of the town. What's the thoughts of the council? Okay. Great. So I guess would it be prudent to have a motion in that
Sure.
regard? Okay, so I would ask for a motion to advertise for a position for the Inverness County Home Support Committee. So do we have a seconder? All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Okay, perfect. We will act on that. And our next request coming forward via correspondence is with regard to support for 90/90 Society, the coldest night of the year. That's coming up quite quickly this weekend. In lieu of such a short timeline, it might not make sense on the advertising side of things, but I might maybe defer to staff in terms of a recommendation on how we would show support for that.
Yes, sure. So we could certainly provide, as we have done in the past for organizations, is some things that can be auctioned or used for fundraising purposes, such as free swims, free ice time, free ice rentals, and other items that the town can provide as a for volunteers to utilize for their fundraising activities.
What's the thoughts of council with regard to the request and staff recommendation?
I think the gift of kind is a good recommendation.
Perfect, thank you, Deputy Mayor. Any discussion? Deputy Mayor, would you like to make a motion with that regard?
I could also my other colleague if I want to. Make the motion, yes.
Okay, do we have a seconder? Okay, so motion to provide in-kind contributions to the Naomi Society for their event, Coldest Night of the Year. All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion is approved. So that concludes our correspondence, business of order. Our next item is under proclamations resolutions, which we have none this evening. Under other business, our first item is council expenses.
Yes, sure. So month of January, there was no expenses that were registered. So sometimes it takes a bit of time for expenses to catch up. So there might have been, I know there's been meetings attended to, and there could be expenses, but that will show up next month. But we did pretty well for the month of January. So this is posted on our website for our expense claims, both for council, mayor, deputy mayor, and councilors, and the CAO. It's posted every month and open for public viewing.
Thank you so much, Terry. So the next item, council committee appointments. And I guess, just to start, I just wanted to thank all members of the community who came out for our February 4th open house to talk about moving the town forward and how do we do what we need, what we can to make Fort Hawkesbury town for absolutely everyone, regardless of age or level of ability. How do we become a prosperous town and how do we do that together? Also wanted to thank staff and council members who supported that process. So we did have some great volunteers that did come forward, and I will give things back over to Terry to review those.
Thank you, Your Worship. So not only from our open house, we've had some persons come forward before and after the event that weren't able to attend. And specifically members who are on other committees that are now being amalgamated into some bigger committees. So under accessibility, we have the same members that we've had in the past. So recommendations for Matthew Higgins, Jade Hampson, Kathy Cook, Tiffany Coffin, Karen Stevens, and Melissa McDonald to be appointed as volunteer members of our Accessibility Advisory Committee.
Would it make sense just to approve per committee?
Sure. Yeah, we typically read them anyway, so we should.
Sure. So I would ask for a motion to approve these committee members.
Make the motion.
Okay, so it's been moved by Councilor McCory. Do we have a second? Thank you, Councilor Barrett. All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Okay, the committee for accessibility, diversity, equity, and inclusion is approved.
Thank you. So for the financial audit, we have recommendation for Larry McKeegan, Brandon Wells, and Janet Willis. Janet Willis is a new member to that committee.
Thank you. What is the wishes of council? Okay, so Councilor Hart has moved. Do we have a second?
Second?
Okay, seconded by Councilor McCory. All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? That committee assigned.
New committee, that's going for Hawkesbury, and recommendations are there'll be a member from the Strait Area Chamber of Commerce, a member from the Cape Breton Wren. Volunteers from the community will include Kevin McCachran, Darren Blunden, Ann Blunden, Paula Davis, Sarah Johnson, and Willie Stratton.
Oh, where was
Thank you.
it? Thank you, Deputy Mayor. What is the wishes of council?
That the names be accepted as recommended and read by the CAO.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder? Second. Okay, seconded by Councilor Hart. All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Okay, the committee is approved.
To their new committee, which will include a number of initiatives that were being looked after by a number of other committees. So it's a large committee, and recommendations of volunteers include Chair McDaniel, Michael Curry, Floyd Porter, Bert Lewis, Damian Phillips, John McNeil, Ricky Lanting, and Harmony Hiltz.
Okay, what is the wishes of council?
I'll move that.
Second, okay. Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yeah.
Yes, any opposed? Committee assignments are approved.
And the last one is planning advisory. So the recommendations, current member Jim Davis, Sandy McDonald, and partnership rep Carly Appleton, and new members Janet Willis and Larry McKeegan.
Thank you. What is the wishes of council?
I move the names be accepted as read in the planning and advisory committee, but it's not.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. Do we have a second? Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Many approved. Does that conclude our committee plans?
Yes, thank you.
Your worship,
Yes.
what I'd like to ask is, just as a courtesy, if we could send letters out to committee members that we don't have committees any longer, like Waterfront and Parks and Recreation, just to advise those people that were volunteering that the committee structure has changed, and there may be some that are on either these committee lists right now. But I think just as a courtesy, we should let them know that committees have changed.
No, that's a great point, Counselor. I believe I'll defer to, as I believe you may have sent out. So all the invitations for our new committee structures were sent to all of our existing committee members, or to date at least, as of the last municipal election. And just for the benefit of council and gallery and staff, certainly if there is any interest after this council meeting for anyone who wants to volunteer for any of these committees, certainly they're more than welcome. The door will always be open to look at folks who want to roll up their sleeves and help us grow the town. Tonight is just about approving the names that have indicated that they would like to serve up to this point. But if there are more folks that have interest in the future, we would certainly love to welcome them as a council. And to also, to your point, Councilor McCrory, I think that it's a great idea for the names of folks who did serve on committees, just to extend a letter of thanks for their service, and to let them know the doors are always open, and to remind them of our new committee structures, and just to let them know that we're very grateful of everything they've done to help us grow the town to what it is today. Would you like to make a motion in that regard?
Sure, Your worship, I make the motion that send letters to past committee members to advise them of the change committee structure and thanking them for their contribution on those committees.
Okay, do we have a seconder?
I'll second that.
Okay. Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Motion is approved. Councilor Corey, was there any other follow-up? Okay, we'll move forward to the next item, which is the Sports Wall of Fame Committee. So I understand that we do need to assign a council representative to that committee, and I know that Councilor Barrett has graciously volunteered to serve that role, but we would need a motion of council to ratify that.
I'll move the council go to the Wall of Fame committee.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Hurt. All those in favor? I guess, do you still accept Councilor Barrett? Okay. All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Congratulations, Councilor Barrett. You have another committee. Yay. All right. So we do have two items under approved additions. Our first item is with regard to a fundraising request, or sorry, apologies, a funding support request that came forward today from Autism Nova Scotia. And I believe it's a similar request we've had in prior years, Terry. So for space for an event. If we could see the elaborate.
Yes, I don't have that right here, but the request is from the Autism Society, and that's for the use of the Bearhead facility for a fundraising event. It'll be a comedy night. That's a big fundraiser for the society. The society does phenomenal work within our region we're very, very fortunate to have that group of volunteers and professionals with us, and from the staff's perspective, it's certainly highly recommended. It's a value of about $690 for the evening.
Okay.
I motion to approve that.
But before we make motion on that, I don't have that in front of me either. It was a late edition.
Yes.
Okay, which is fine.
Yeah.
And the autism is a group organization, but it wasn't just the autism organization, or unless I read that wrong. I think we should take a look at that. It was another group there. So there's two groups before we make a motion that we should agree that we're sending funds to. So let's take a look at that.
Sure.
Do you have a copy of that? I probably have it in my email, just one. Do you have that printed in front of you, Deputy Mayor?
No, I don't. I didn't.
It's okay.
I
I know,
read the late edition.
Melissa had circulated that this evening. So, so it's from the chapter support coordinator of Autism Nova Scotia, Natalie Stevens. Looks, unless there's another group I'm not seeing. I just have the letter. Was there another package that came in? Okay, so it's just the one letter? So it looks like.
One letter, but there's two groups in underneath that letterhead, if I read it, if I recall, right, and I might recall wrong.
Did she just say chapter support coordinator? Straight in
Yeah.
the chapter in
Yeah,
Autism
it
Nova
looks
Scotia?
like,
I didn't think I saw anything.
oh, sorry, Fusion Athletics.
Fusion Athletics, that's the one I read.
Yes, thank you.
So.
I don't see the letterhead, but it is.
Fusion
part of it.
Athletics,
I believe they're a cheer. Maybe.
okay. That's no problem, just, it is two groups
Just for
there.
information, yeah. So according to the letter,
It says sports club focusing on cheerleading, dance, tumble group
Yeah.
programs for youth and children based out of.
So we're ready to, we're giving space for that group to decide how they're gonna split it up.
I think they're gonna occupy it together.
Okay.
I'm going to
yeah,
assume, is
I'm
that
assuming that fundraising together.
To raise funds for both organizations.
Yeah.
And we could certainly, we can defer this until the March.
If there's a timeline, I don't wanna,
If you'd rather.
I don't wanna cause confusion, but I wasn't sure who that other group was.
it's March 28th, it's scheduled, Deputy Mayor.
Yeah, so we do still have time if we want to get a little bit more information.
Or seek clarification, yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
we can definitely do that,
But we're supportive of the autism,
of course.
right?
Of course. And we have, I know specifically the Autism Nova Scotia, the Strait Area chapter, we have provided in-kind space for fundraising. I do not recall, however, there was similar arrangements with other fundraising partners. This could be a first. But we will seek clarity, and then we could look at the request for our upcoming March meeting. It still will give lots of time prior to the date of their event.
Your worship, will it though? That they're gonna have this event going on, they're gonna want lead time to advertise it if we wait to,
Completely up to council.
Yeah.
But you're,
I could make an amendment to the motion.
Sure.
If there was a motion.
sure.
That's,
I'm
we're,
not sure if we get a motion fully yet.
well, okay. I make a motion that we approve the request to the autism group and the other group, provided the other group, which is not unknown to me, fits within our guidelines. Whatever guideline, you know,
That makes sense. Okay.
is that wording appropriate?
Sure, so yeah, so we'll approve the donation of the room up to a value of $690 for the Autism Society in association with the Fusion.
Yeah.
Athletics, with clarifications sought on
What this
the,
other group is.
yeah,
It's not known quantity to me.
Yeah.
And the spirit of my rewording is that we gotta be careful who.
Yeah.
What we're doing, when we're giving stuff, who it's going to go back to, but it's to that group, I don't know. I'm sure it's a good group.
Okay, so we have a motion for consideration. Do we have a seconder? Okay, All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Any opposed? Okay, motion is approved. And I guess if there are any issues between now and our next meeting, we can take another look at it if it requires any adjustment. All right, so the next item is Jake breaks. And Councillor Hart asked to have that added. Did you want to speak on that first, Councillor? Did you want our CAO to give a bit of an update on where we currently?
Maybe Terry can enlighten us on some
Sure.
of the policy or bylaws that are enacted with the Jake breaks, and that'll enhance the.
I can offer a bit of an update too after you're done, Terry.
Sure. So so it's not a bylaw issue. This is on a provincial highway. So it's there's provincial laws that prohibit the use of what's referred to as Jake breaks. We've approached the RCMP on a number of occasions. They have gone forward and they have enforced the law in specific areas of the town. They've put on campaigns where they've done that. They've asked for signage, and signage is the responsibility of Nova Scotia Public Works. And that's been through the traffic authority. There's a traffic authority that looks after Eastern Nova Scotia. So that contact has been made to the traffic authority for more signage. And discussions with Staff Sergeant Warren indicate that they very much want to see this decreased. It's a long-standing issue that's been going on for a long time, and I'm sure extremely frustrating for the residents, especially in certain parts of the town. But it is well recognized by the RCMP that enforce the law. Having said that, it is difficult to be at all places at all times when this occurs, and all I can say is that there is a strong attempt to enforce the signage. We believe will help us well when that occurs.
Just to follow up on CAO Terry Doyle's update and information. I've also been in contact with some residents that live very near Trunk 4 in Reeve Street. It has been an ongoing concern for probably as long as trucks were heading to Point Tupper. And I have connected them directly with the RCMP, so they're not only in communications with myself, but also directly with the RCMP on their challenges. So I do understand they're able to let the RCMP know when there is a specific time where it seems to be more acute. At specific days of the week or times of day. And the RCMP is certainly working with the Public Works as well as the town to do what we can to reduce and hopefully at some future date alleviate that issue. It is a lot of it's really difficult, especially during the night. It's disruptive to sleep for the residents there. And I understand that the RCMP can fine the drivers that are using the Jake breaks illegally. So things will continue hopefully to improve on this important issue. And I don't know, Terry, is there anything else you wanted to add?
No, I just reemphasize it's an ongoing issue. Staff Sergeant Warren was by the office to speak with the mayor and I late last week to give us an update on this.
And
And
they are prioritizing.
it is a priority for them, and it's a frustration, but they certainly understand the concerns of the residents of Metro.
Certainly, Councillor Hurd, if there's anything you wanted to add in terms of like any feedback you've been receiving.
Oh, absolutely. I didn't come to this on my own. I don't live in the vicinity, so I don't get the pollution of the noise. It's from concerned community members, which I'm just a voice for and bringing it forward. So I just want to, let them know that we recognize it, and we're just still trying to come to some finalize for them so we can fix it for them.
I wonder if, not sure what our local trucking association or groups would be for the Point Tupper region, but I wonder if we were to express our concerns around Jake breaks, you know, to those companies or associations, and that might be a help that they could relay that back to the drivers that are within their
Jurisdiction.
yeah. I wonder if that might.
Well, signage would be a big thing, and that's, the help, but yeah, anything would be a help, I guess, for recognition. And it's, maybe they're not, schooled or enough information for them to know that they can't use it. Town. And maybe they're just, there's an ignorance, I don't know.
So we have in the past reached out to industry to help us with this and posting notices and for Oxbury paper and Element Fuels at a number of locations where a lot of our trucking, that's the destination for a lot of our trucking and associations. And there may have been some success with that. It's a very difficult problem to address, but we have to keep trying things, and that's certainly something that we will do is talk to industry and trucking associations.
Sure, just not to interrupt, Terry, what about compliance? Like, do they have, is it just RCMP or do compliance have anything to do with? I'm sure they have something to do with the trucking, but are they able to enforce anything?
Absolutely, yeah. So that was when I first started dealing with, that's who I went to, was motor vehicle compliance. And they did as well enforce it. They typically will work with the RCMP on that. And sometimes but they have authority to enforce a ticket as well. And they have in the past. Typically they'll work closely with the RCMP, but either organization, RCMP or Nova Scotia motor vehicle compliance can ticket, can enforce the law.
Just wanted to open it up to the rest of council for further discussion. Any comments or concerns?
Your worship, I was just gonna make the comment that I recall that we did send letters before to the trucking association. Yeah.
Thank you, Councilor Corey.
And I know it was a high priority in police advisory committee meeting. It's a high topic.
That's good. Yeah.
That they were trying to address it.
And we have it's a very positive relationship with the RCMP. I know they certainly provide all kinds of opportunities to touch base, just to understand, you know, the priorities that town council have, you know, as, you know, the changing landscape of our communities, and this certainly one that has been. Anything, Deputy Mayor?
No, it's not a concern that was raised to me, and I'm glad that Councillor Hart brought the concern forward, whoever raised it to you. And it sounds like it's being addressed by the staff sergeant or attempts to address it. I'm just wondering trends on when it happens, where exactly it happens. Is it around a crosswalk? Is it nighttime?
It seems to be about 2 a.m.
Oh.
It's after midnight. It's during sleep hours mostly. We don't recognize it during the day because of traffic and the busyness of town. And most people aren't home because they're working, but it's mostly night hours.
Yeah,
That's most disturbing.
that's when it's the most disruptive to sleep. And I don't know if I'm assuming correctly, but I understand that Jake breaks less intrusive to the mechanics of the truck versus actual breakdowns. etc. Anyway, so at the end of the day, we certainly have to alleviate that issue as much as is possible. To continue to lean our shoulder to that wheel. Thank you for bringing that forward, Councilor Hart. Any other comments? Okay, so we'll move on then to agenda item 16, which is future meetings. Our next meeting is March 4th, followed by our committee of the whole on March 18th. And at this time, I would ask if any members, so we have quite a large gallery here this evening. Welcome, gallery. Wow, this is great. So our public question period typically is an opportunity if anybody in our gallery has or who may be participating virtually who may have a question or comment with regard to anything that's on our current agenda. And the typical protocol is you can come up, Mike, and ask a question. Let us know who you are. Ask your questions through myself, and if I don't have the answer, I could certainly refer to staff. And if I don't have the answer this evening, we could definitely get back to you with regard to your question or concern or idea. So without further ado, I would ask if any members of our gallery might have any questions with regard to any agenda items. Yeah, no. You just have to share your name.
Absolutely. My name is Betty. I'm here with my social services class as part of the large gallery here.
Well, welcome social services class.
Yes. Big fans here. So my question has to do with like accessibility and emergency response to management. Are there any plans to address the ice buildup and the inaccessibility of the boat tie-offs down at the wharf?
Okay, thank you for your question.
Could I just get some clear on the, I heard the wharf, accessibility and ice buildup, but what's where is it exactly?
The boat tie-ups at the Port Hawkesbury Pier.
Worship,
Yes,
could you say,
Sorry.
sorry,
I could even give you the sticky if you'd like. The ice buildup and the inaccessibility to the rope tie-offs at the wharf down here on the waterfront.
Okay,
They're chock full of ice. You can't get ropes around them, so emergency docking is kind of inaccessible at the moment with the way snow and ice is being plowed off of the dock itself. It's creating an inaccessibility to the rope tie-offs as well as the ladders to get on and off.
sure.
So the gangways, maybe the gangways?
So the,
So go ahead.
so that facility is owned and operated by Straight Superport. But we'd be very happy to pass that concern on. And I'm really happy that you're bringing it
Oh, thank
forward.
you.
And I will say that ice everywhere is a big deal right now, and trying to keep up with it is very, very
Especially
difficult.
around water and wind.
Yeah, so, but certainly happy to pass that on to Straight Superport, who own that.
No, I appreciate that. Right, I'll take it. Did you want to add anything?
I think that was, I'm impressed by that,
Yeah.
comment
You're
and
lucky.
observation. And, maybe make another.
Go ahead, Captain
Uh,
Landry. Please,
Langley,
Langley, sorry.
She doesn't know who you are yet.
very impressed with your observations.
It's
Uh,
older you.
Your worship. You also mentioned the ladder, and that's, access if someone fell in to get out. And just to be clear, the CEO mentioned that the owner and operator, wharf, you're talking about the L-shaped wharf where the lifeboat is at the end, okay, yeah. That's the second time I heard that observation today.
I heard it last night, actually.
Okay.
It's really not a great spot right now. Yeah.
Great observation, and we will reach out to them. I'll ensure of that, and then I don't have to ensure because our staff will do that tomorrow morning, I'm sure. Maybe because I'll be checking, and I think I'm just impressed with your comments. Good to see your group here. Thank you. All of us.
Excited for the next question. Who's next? We're great.
Marguerite Howard, and I apologize, I didn't realize that my questions had to be
But
pertaining to
it-
the,
It's probably ice related though.
it is certainly,
No, please share.
and it is plowing related,
Okay.
so I'm not allowed to let it
No,
speak.
no, please, go ahead.
I live on Nepean Street,
Yes.
and we all know that Nepean Street is one of the new streets that were done, right?
Yeah.
And for some reason, they come down with the plow and they wing the sidewalk after everybody is all cleared out. Their driveways are all free and clear. The sidewalk plow has done a tremendous job this year. Very pleased with all the work that they've done. But there's no reason for that wing to go on that sidewalk. Because once everybody's cleared out, you know, not Sunday, but the storm that we had like Friday. I was all cleared out, and I'm not the only one. I can't believe I'm the only one that's complaining about this. Anyway, we were all cleaned out. We pay somebody to come down and clean us out.
Yes.
The snow core. The rest we look after ourselves. My husband has health issues, so
Right.
I look after the rest. But The stuff that they put in there after that sleet and ice storm that we had was pure solid ice.
Right.
And I can't control the time that the guy comes to do my plowing. And for him to come back, we're senior citizens, we're on fixed incomes. That's an extra plowing job for us. So I can understand, I brought this to some previous counselors before, but it kind of fell on deaf ears. I got the reply was that they have to clear the streets. I'm all for clearing the streets,
Yes,
but leave the sidewalk alone and let the sidewalk plow do its job.
thank you very much for your comments.
Thank you.
John,
Yeah.
agreed.
Thank you. So I guess that was more of a comment than a question, so we can definitely do some follow-up with you, Marguerite. Thank you for that. Any other follow-up questions? So you guys are all in social services at NSCC? Awesome. You guys are just looking so super enthralled through the whole meeting. They're really, really impressed. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it. So we are all finished. I guess going once, going twice for public question period. Okay, hearing none, I would ask for motion of adjournment.
We'll move.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a second? All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Contrary minded? Sure. This the first?